Let's talk to the president of Top Rank, Mr. Todd duBoef, about this very exciting announcement. There he is. Todd in the house. So great to see you. Man? How are you?
I'm great. I told them I got the walk, and I was hoping for a Jennifer Hudson walk. I was waiting for the music.
We're not quite there yet. But we're working our way up. Congratulations.
This is the famous desk that I fantasize about.
You fantasize about this?
I fantasize about this.
Why?
Because I think this one puts McAfee's to shame.
I appreciate that. Wow, that is high praise.
I love it.
Wow,
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just
come more often.
I'm in.
I appreciate
love
that.
This desk. It's real.
Look at this WBC title.
This shit is real, man.
Yes. All of this.
This is as real as it gets, right?
Even this window is quasi-real.
I love it.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much. If you don't mind, just bring the mic closer.
Absolutely.
Get comfortable. Yeah, there we go.
Listen, I left my jacket out there.
I appreciate that. Congratulations. This is very exciting. I have a million questions.
I figured that was
yes.
And by the way, I just let everybody know, you texted me late last night.
I did.
Right? Like, I'm really excited. We're going to chew this one up. So I'm like all in. I'm like a sleepless night for me.
You know, a lot of people have texted me in the industry. Oh, this is big. Okay, we're going to get some answers here. Great to have Todd in studio. How did today go? You had the press conference earlier.
You know, everything went fantastic. And I really, it's new. Right. And, I've been down the road a long time with a lot of different partners, and it's new. And so, and to one thing, like I said at the press conference, and I said it in private, is like, we've been talking for over a year. I've known them for 5 years, 6 years, right? So it's like, are they friend or foe, right? Yeah. It's like, which one am I taking you at? And I'm really glad. Just smooth, like-minded, the way we think, the way we talk. It was really a wonderful introduction.
Okay, so your last event with ESPN was July of 2025. Right. At what point did you come to the realization that relationship was coming to an end?
I think we kind of, I don't know that it was coming to an end is a fair description.
Okay.
Right? I think what the description, as we kind of talked about, was at the time we needed size and we needed live. And when you think about it, we signed in 2017 to do our first. We moved from HBO to ESPN there, and we do a bunch of live events. ESPN Plus doesn't get launched until the beginning of 18, and that became the impetus behind our bigger part of a deal. If you remember, it was like up 3 times in a number of years. So they were really having an initiative to drive the direct-to-consumer product. There wasn't rights just dangling around, so they needed my library. They needed size of events, 24 from international, 30 from here. It was a big thing. So the way it was described was, listen, our needs now have changed. Our needs have changed. We don't need the size. We may be interested in some bigger nights or independent nights, maybe one a month, maybe one a quarter, whatever it was. So we kind of knew like their needs and their direction was a bit different. And that was before well before that. So we kind of knew that.
Months before?
Yeah, it was months before. Maybe like 6 months before.
So at that point, are you able to shop around?
Yes.
Historically in the TV business, the reason I'm asking this is by the time one deal is done, you kind of know where the next stop is. Right. And that wasn't the case with you guys.
Well, I could have made deals.
Okay.
I don't remember. We're not going to talk about we felt it was very important to stay strong. And just because we were naked, or as people would say, oh, you don't have a deal, you're where are you going? And I basically said, for 53 fucking years, we never had media rights deals. Mm-hmm. It didn't actually come into play until we actually did the ESPN deal, right? Because you would be at Showtime for one night, HBO the next night, a Univision series, an ESPN series. We were all over the place, but nobody had a traditional media rights deal. That was kind of defined for the first time at that ESPN Disney thing where they said, I want everything. I want the whole vertical and I want it there. That was the beginning of a media rights deal. It never existed before then.
And so you never felt the pressure, right? Because everyone's talking about you. Everyone's saying you don't have a home August, September, October. You weren't feeling nervous, anxious, sweating about this. You knew you were going to take your time. It was going to work out the way in which you wanted to work out. Is that fair?
This is you saying.
No, I'm asking. Is this a fair? Yeah.
No. I mean, obviously you think about, oh my God, is this merger going to happen? Is Paramount merging with this? And what happens to this network? And what's going on with this one? And they're spinning this out. And what about here? And I'm not sure if I want to go there. And what am I going to tell my fighters? What am I going to do?
Okay, so you were sweating it a little bit.
Everybody sweats it in this business. Anybody saying they don't sweat it in any media rights negotiation for any content partner is full of shit.
Okay.
All right? I mean, look, remember what was it, wrestling, right?
Yeah.
They went and they pulled out the rabbit out of the hat getting the Netflix deal,
yes.
right? They were worried where they were going. So I think everybody, we're not all the NFL.
Right.
Right? Everybody is worried, like NFL is going to extract so much money from the media market now that every property is like, oh no, what does that mean about me? Are they going to get rid of MLB or NHL or golf or whatever because they have to have the NFL? Everybody is thinking that. So yeah, you're always on pins and needles, right? We need media partners to be healthy. We need them to be successful. Legacy is struggling today. It is absolutely struggling. So when you go into a marketplace with mergers happening, split off splinters, and you're looking at red ink everywhere, yeah, you're nervous.
Did it take longer than you expected?
Unfortunately, I'm not controlling the process as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Right? Certain things. Timing is everything. Timing is such a big piece of it. I mean, our ESPN deal was timed perfectly, by accident though, right? Which was the ESPN Plus launch, the DTC getting launched, right? The first piece wasn't, I had to make the move from HBO and Showtime, right? I wanted to get off an entertainment channel and move along to a sports channel. That was phase one, but the bigger phase was, we're going all in on DTC. That timing worked great for me. So it's hard to figure out. You can't necessarily time it.
Were there talks to go back to ESPN?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because it seemed like for a moment ESPN was out of the boxing business, but then very recently reports started to pop up that you guys were talking again.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with them. We're talking to them all the time. So,
okay.
I mean, it's I would say that one thing that we did do was, I think we did remain very civil, and there was no bitterness and there was no resentment, and they're a wonderful platform. They're a great partner. We loved everything about it. Their needs were different than our needs, right? And their needs weren't necessarily exactly what that could take our whole vertical like we did before. So we had to be inventive.
What did you learn about the state of the TV business, broadcast business, streaming business? You were out there in the wilderness, right? I'm sure you talked to everyone.
Yeah.
And so you probably know very, very very, very precisely what is going on, what people are looking for, what networks are looking for. So what did you learn about this throughout this process?
I mean, I think I hit on it before, that legacy is really challenged. I mean, I think as much as you can hear about it or talk about it, and you can watch CNBC and the guys roll their eyes. Oh, we're Versant now, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then its a legacy is completely challenged. And I think if you were to look at the diagram of how our world looks at, it's Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix because they're first to market, Disney probably because they have a moat around themselves because of the parks business, and I think this merger was the one to probably add the sixth, right? Everybody else is game on; they don't know where it is. But I think when you start to see, the way the dynamic has shifted, and you're starting to see the power of YouTube, and I mean, their advertising sales they released greater than the aggregate of almost the entire bundle of everybody else in ad sales. The world is just technologically we're going more toward tech than we are to legacy media. And I think in my era, and in the era of Bob, we had a huge value on free to air. Free to air was it. That's all we thought about. Free to air, Fox, NBC, CBS, that made it, right? it's a different world today. I think it's a component of it, and it's never going to go away. But pay cable seems like it's dying pretty quick.
Speaking of Bob, we just played the video that he shared announcing this and sharing his feelings. How involved is he at this point in this process, in these types of things?
He's involved in. He wants to know. He wants to be informed, and he just, he's sitting there. He is actually a historian in the evolution of media.
It's unbelievable,
right?
yeah.
What he has done,
Yeah.
right. And so when I explained to him, hey, look what has happened over time, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So I think he's very in tune. He has really good instincts, and he's open-minded to understanding disruption, other mechanisms that people are getting content, social platforms. Social platforms are a massive leader today in everything that we do. Those appetizers of content, regardless if it's on an NBA game on Peacock, as soon as it goes out socially, it's getting to a way bigger audience than anything we ever thought. So all of that, he gets it.
I'm always blown away. I see him 1 week in Japan, 1 week in England, here on the East Coast. Like, the motor doesn't seem to be slowing down. I don't understand it. He defies logic and time.
He does defy logic and time. And the reason why the motor has temporarily slowed down.
Okay.
He had a knee replacement surgery.
Interesting. Okay.
All right,
How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Okay.
It's amazing. But at 94, having your knee replaced is like, so we're hoping it's bionics. We think it's the $6 million man is coming back.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
No. So I think he's doing great, but it's hard because he's not somebody that stays stationary. He's not somebody so his brain is going and he's at home, but we just keep him engaged, and I think he's doing really well.
Why does he feel the need? Like, why does he need to be there in Japan? Like, why does he have to go all the way to the Middle East or Europe? Why he could chill at home?
Chilling at home is not his MO.
Not his DNA.
Not his thing, man. It's not his thing. He loves the fights. He loves the fighters. He loves to be in the action. That's what he loves. Keeps him going.
And I feel like the fighters love him, right? Like, I see. They want the meeting. They want the photo op. They want to be in his presence.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, or 7 years, yes. The previous 53 years,
Yeah.
I got a lot of shade from our fighters coming at us.
This generation.
This generation,
yes. It feels like
Grandpa Bob gets the ring, right?
Exactly.
Right before there was a knife in his back.
Right. Good point. Fair play. So when did you feel like DAZN was close? When did you start to feel like, okay, this is going to be our home?
I think we have an obligation. I think all of us have an obligation in the content business to see where the marketplace is going, right? And DAZN came in a very bold way early on, and really kind of caught me by surprise because, I taught John Skipper what a southpaw was. Again, Loma and Rigo at the Highsmith. When they had the Heisman, the Heisman Trophy winner show, and all of a sudden I see him come into the marketplace and throw $300 million to Canelo on another platform. I didn't know what to think, right? And back then, and over time, I was like always watching what they were doing, seeing what they were doing, seeing what the content is, what is their strategy, and they have an excellent strategy throughout the world. I think the real question is, what were they doing here? And were they disrupting my business? Were they looking to, how could we do this? And I think I loved their commitment to the sport. It wasn't like, a nice to have. It was a have to have. And those have to haves and people that like your sport, and because I've been an evangelist for boxing is just so undervalued at times, people don't get it. Let's talk about it. And seeing how high it was on their radar was a really, a big importance to me. I think the other thing that I really liked was their creativity, and we started to do events, some of those Riyadh season events, and I started getting exposure to them. The final, and I would say just over a year ago, was when we started talking about like-minded nature of the bigger we make the sport, the bigger we get. There used to be a mindset that I'm a platform. I want it. I don't care how small it is. I want it all here for me. And that's where the product ends up getting hurt, right? When the sport gets stuck on an island at times and isn't able to get released. And when I saw that what they executed with Club World Cup here in the United States and partnering with people, I was like, they got it. They figured it out. I get this. We're like-minded. We're like-minded. And that gave me the confidence, that there was a path forward.
For the last few years, obviously on ESPN, you were their only boxing property. Now you're sharing the broadcaster with many different properties. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a benefit for everybody. I mean, I think, I've been in the business 33 years, and often we had headwinds and friction because we weren't all aligned, or we didn't have a common interest, and the convenient non-common interest was different networks. So now, if we all have a stake in this wonderful platform, it's going to be seamless. We should be able to make matches. Now, we get along great with Eddie. We get along great with the Warrens. We get along great with PBC. We can talk all day long, but a lot of times, Mayweather-Pacquiao was a mess to make between the HBOs and the Showtimes of the world. So we had a lot of lines. It would be like taking, an NFC game on Fox and saying, hey, I want it on CBS on Sunday. That's not their relationship. They have the AFC. You get it?
Yes. And so you just said, good relationship, great relationship with Eddie, with Frank. One thing I wondered, we know that Golden Boy's deal with DAZN is coming up or is up, and they've done a couple of shows here and there, but it doesn't seem like anything long-term has been signed. Are you replacing Golden Boy on DAZN to the best of your knowledge?
That's Golden Boy's business. That's DAZN's business.
Okay.
I'm looking at what is a really good strategic partner for us, somebody that makes sense for us, great for our fighters, opportunity, and that's my business. And my relationship with DAZN is independent, and so far, that was one of the real reasons we wanted to do it. And, it's going to be interesting because I really find that now the fighters are going to have to, there is no excuses, right? So when guys used to turn down fights sometimes, it was like, well, he's over there, I'm over here. The manager, whoa, we were not going to be able to get that one done, are we? Right? So it's going to put a lot of heat on them, right? Because the pressure is going to come into, let's start making some matches. Somebody's got to make decisions. You don't have an excuse.
How many years is the deal?
Multiple years.
Why can't you say? Why are people so afraid of the years question?
I think we've decided, and I think this is respectful, right? If it was an exclusive deal, I was their only person, I get it. Then I have no problem giving them, and we both agree, no problem giving you more of the granular finances. It's not, there's multiple rights holders.
Understood.
I don't want this to be precedential that they hold my deal against somebody else. And you see this all the time. You hear about, well, why did this guy get this much money? Why don't I get it?
I get
right?
you.
Let's not open up Pandora's box. Let's have a little we have our own different relationship. Whatever it is. And it's good. And I think those details could be more harming to us creating a really good free market.
Could I ask how many fights, how many events per year?
It's still.
Is that one? Because we know they tell us how many Matchroom. They tell us how many.
Right. So Matchroom's a legacy deal.
Okay.
Right. We want to end.
I've seen 8 to 10. I've seen 8 to 12.
I don't think. Honestly, I'm not sure it's going to be less than or greater than. I think it's going to work really fluid. Right.
Okay. There's no set number.
Not really, no. And
if we were to set the line, what would you say the line would be? Are we setting the line at 12, over, under? What are we taking?
Come on, man.
Is that a big question? Yeah. That is a big question. I just want to know the scope.
Because I want to respect their relationship.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? Because what if they dug in their heels with one of their other rights holders, even though they don't have the gun, and they said, I couldn't get you those extra 2 fights. And they said, why did you just give those to Top Rank? That's bullshit.
You don't want to.
I've been with you forever.
Okay.
Right? And I just think it's like, listen, we're doing something that hasn't been done before.
In what way?
We're putting all the content holders under one umbrella.
Okay.
Let's embrace that.
Well, it's not all, right?
But you understand.
Yes,
the majority of the majority.
Yes.
The majority of the rights holders in this space for the last 40 years are now moving towards one platform. That's good for the sport. Mm-hmm. Let's see what, and I don't want to disrupt the momentum, right? And get somebody, sideways.
Is this your exclusive home?
No.
Okay, so you can make a deal with someone else if you want.
Yes.
Are you going to look to make a deal with someone else?
Yes.
Okay. Is that imminent? Look, has that been done yet? Has that been signed?
No.
Okay, but is it
No.
close?
So they are my cornerstone streaming partner.
Yep.
All right. They are the first spoke of a wheel. All right. The way I look at it is we are going to grow the space together. We are going to grow the space together, and hand in hand, working to expand. So how that happens and where it goes together and what other mechanisms we use and other platforms to grow the business will be aligned. And that's the most important.
Are there restrictions, like you can't go to another streaming platform? It could be linear if you're with, like, in that regard.
I mean, I feel like there's a deposition.
No,
What's going
I love this stuff. I live
yeah,
and breathe.
right, like-
Don't you know?
I love it
live
too.
and breathe this stuff. This is a great opportunity to speak to the president of Top Rank.
Listen, Bill.
You could tell me to go. You could tell me to take a hike. I still do have to ask these questions because everyone's
I
wondering.
agree with you. So I think what we described to them is, and what we all agreed to is, our body of work and what we have is so significant, right? With regard to what my bandwidth is that we believe that we can add up a bunch that could be very supportive to them, however we do it. And it may be that, they say, hey, we don't want you to, and let's start expanding even further.
Okay.
So I don't want to be concrete on anything. I want to say this was the cornerstone to our first spoke of that wheel.
Okay.
How many spokes we have to be determined, but obviously they understand that, and we all know that there could be other pieces of that wheel done.
There's talks, you would say?
Yes, absolutely.
There's always talks.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And by the way, I remember, I used to be represented by Nick Khan, so I remember getting invited to the big press conference, Mayweather-McGregor week, when you guys announced the ESPN deal.
Yeah.
CAA was representing you guys, and you were out there, and the word was you got a great deal based on what everyone said. Were you doing this on your own this time, or did you have someone representing you?
So, the CAA group that did was Alan Gold, his group, which does our media rights, and Alan, who worked with Nick at that time, still is there and was
leading this
and has shepherded us through the process as well. We complement each other.
When's the first one? Do we know that? The first Top Rank on DAZN event.
We're in the process of there's some big swings we're looking at to possibly happen. So I don't want to prematurely jump into things. We have option A could happen as early as May. Option B could happen as early as June. But it all depends on how a couple of these things fall.
But that time frame, spring?
Yeah. I mean, we're looking spring.
Do you have sort of like a dream scenario, like a fight that you want to kick this off?
No, I think what I would like. I really believe in not just the one, but it's the body of work, and it's how you do that. And I think what we have is, and we've always excelled at. And I remember early on in my days when I was going in Albuquerque with Danny Romero and Johnny Tapia, right? We do such wonderful development of these fighters. So going to Norfolk, Virginia just seems like a great one for Keyshawn. Coming into New York with Shushu, no brainer. Going back to Puerto Rico with Xander, amazing. Taking Abdullah Mason to Cleveland, right? Those things are how we develop platforms. And we've done this only for 50 years, right? When HBO was just launching and getting into boxing. And then in 1980, when ESPN did Friday Night Fights, that was a strategy we had. And then we did it with Univision in the 90s. And then we came back to it, with ESPN, with DTC. So I think they need national scale, and national scale happens when you energize local markets. First, your local markets, the avalanche starts to build, then national goes. So that's really what we love doing. Getting lively crowds, hometowns, connecting to the fans there.
And I think you guys do a tremendous job. And quite frankly, I said this before you even came on, even knew you were coming on. I think of the American promoters, and I think you can make a very strong case of the global promoters. No one has a better young stable right now, future superstars, than you guys, than Top Rank, these names. And you've had names that have turned into staples like Shakur and T.O., who just headlined MSG, et cetera, et cetera. Those guys are future superstars and on the cusp of greatness. Maybe not pay-per-view draws right now, but draws locally and on TV. Is there a desire on your end to be in the pay-per-view business anymore, or do you want this to just be on DAZN without that second paywall attached to it?
So DAZN's in the pay-per-view business.
To a degree, right? They've got this pass. It's a little confusing.
I don't want to speak for them, but I can say it's part of their strategy.
Got you.
All right? So we are going to complement that strategy. We are a big piece of complementing. This is where they want to go. We can figure out solutions there. I think we're going to look at all of the above, right? And it could be just subscription. It could be pay-per-view. It could be whatever. And I think largely at ESPN, it wasn't that we weren't in the pay-per-view business. I think what happened was, and I'll kind of revisit that for a moment, is when COVID hit and they were off the air and they weren't getting their cable, they weren't getting their cable fees because they didn't have live events coming. There was an initiative for them to be like, we were thinking about doing Loma and Lopez on pay-per-view. And they said, don't, please, let's put this on linear. Let's start to lean in more heavily on linear. And that was a strategy that was executed where they wanted to light up the linear, network, and which worked simultaneously was to do the simultaneously simulcast on ESPN+. It wasn't up until that point that you could do both, that you would only be on linear and then we had exclusive plus. So that was the beginning of a strategy executed by ESPN and ourselves.
We've been frustrated at the inability to make the Boots Ennis Virgil Ortiz fight, and now all of a sudden we see, hey, it could be Xander Zayas sliding in, and quite frankly, I said this yesterday, that's a very good plan B, if that is plan B. Is it plan B?
It's a very good plan B,
yes.
If it's a plan B.
Yes. Are you interested?
Absolutely.
Are there talks of this happening?
Absolutely. You should have been at lunch with me.
I was doing my show. It's a long show.
Man,
Zayas versus Boots is tremendous.
Yeah, we're talking.
Would you do that in Puerto Rico? Would Boots be okay with that?
I'm not sure Puerto Rico's the place to do it.
Okay.
In a perfect world, I love New York for that fight. I really love New York for that fight. I think we've been playing around with some buildings and looking at some stuff in New York. The availability is a little bit, but it's in talks. I mean, I think that you saw the chatter out there. Xander wants the fight. We would love to do the fight. And I know that Matchroom and DAZN would love to see Boots get that fight.
What was it like for you over the last few months? Your guys, and I know you referenced this at the presser, like Top Rank has been kicking ass, but you've had to do it maybe on different places, different platforms, other shows. I mean, even Zayas and Vargas are at the freaking Super Bowl, at the halftime show with Bad Bunny. Like, you didn't disappear, and I'm sure that gave you some sort of hope that, like...
It wasn't hope. It was... I mean, Ariel, you've been in the business, right? I mean, we can talk about, we have something in common. We both were at ESPN.
Yes,
right?
we were. Yes.
Right. All right, there we go.
Yes.
All right. So there's a point that you have to believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to make, you make decisions based on strategy, and you make decisions based for long-term success. So if I had to rent my guys out, basically, and do POSs so they wiped everybody's ass, kicked everybody's ass, fine with me and thank you. You're keeping them busy. I'm just proving that we got the creme de la creme, right?
That must have felt good, right?
Oh, it was great. When our guys deliver, it's amazing.
Abdullah's winning over here. Shushu's winning over. Every single guy.
And then how about and then we whip Andy Cruz's butt,
right?
And then then Navarrete beats Smokes and Nunez.
Yes.
We really did, Maritaya, and most people did not think Maritaya was going to do it. And, and this is Andy Cruz, the great gold medalist.
Yes.
Right. My matchmaker's like, don't worry, he's going to run him out of the ring. I love it.
I love it.
All right. So, I mean, the one thing, and like I said at the press conference to Peter, I was like, you had no choice. I whipped all your sable, man. You got to come to us, right? I'm just going to keep wiping them down. So I think that's a big piece. It's like, there's nothing like being able to talk bold when they can fight bold, right? When you can deliver, when you have that ability, you can talk all you want because then you take on all comers. It's when the marketability outdoes your fighting ability and you start talking bold, you better be careful what you chew off. And that's part of matchmaking.
I'm weaving in the fight stuff and the business stuff. Okay, it's like a boxing match. You know, you slip the jab, you come back.
How am I doing? How am I doing?
You're doing tremendous. You're doing tremendous.
Am I like the James Toney role yet?
You're incredible. You're everyone. You're Bernard Hopkins-esque. Ring Magazine Twitter posts about this on Monday. They delete the tweet. They have the terms. They delete it. What was that all about?
I don't know, and I don't give a shit.
Okay, were their terms correct?
I don't know, and honestly, I don't know.
Okay, could you tell us? I'm going to ask you.
But I told you I'm not going to tell you the terms.
Okay.
So where do we go?
No, the number.
This is a whole thing, right? I'm so sick of this sources bullshit, right? I mean, and by the way, it's almost like the bullshit we deal with in everyday journalism, right? And right. We know what CNN's going to do. We know what MSNBC is going to do, and we know what Fox is going to do. Everybody's compromised. Sports fans, the fucking space is compromised. All right? People are playing. They're playing chips. Everyone is not playing. There is no agnostic journalism anymore. There is no Time Magazine and Lucian. People are playing games and they got bets. Same shit goes on in sports. So I don't want to bother my nonsense or my Twitter read or my stuff with people playing games, because usually where it comes from, it's an agenda.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is. I don't care about it. All I care about is...
To that point, let me just ask you this. Front Office Sports writes about this deal, and they say that DAZN wanted to do this because they were growing frustrated with Eddie loaning his fighters out to other platforms, namely Netflix. Accurate? I thought that was a little weird, and I'll tell you why. They just re-signed Eddie, and it felt like, that's weird. Why would you re-sign the guy?
It's such a Yenta thing. It's such bullshit.
Has this been said to you?
Never.
Hey, we're upset with this guy?
Never.
Okay. There's a lot of drama.
It's not drama. This is made up shit. This
Nonsense.
is throwing shade on people, right? This is what people
Where is it
do.
coming from?
I mean, what do you mean, where's it coming from?
Like,
people do this shit all the time. They make up shit just to misery loves company, right? People want to see other people suffer and beat them up and play these games and spin out shit that has no relevance on them. They do this shit for a living, right? They do it in all parts, in all parts of life, but sports is one of them.
How do you feel about the boxing business right now? It's very interesting. Speaking of this drama, I mean, not that long ago, you have Eddie and Frank holding hands with Turkey. Now they seem to be on the outs with him, right? And now it seems like Turkey is aligning with Zuffa Boxing, TKO, and it seems like it's changed dramatically in the last 6 or 8 months. Your take on the state of the business right now?
Well, those are personalities in the business. Those are people that are playing in the business, all right? I'm an advocate of a very big. I always say this. I'm an evangelist for the sport. I was born in Las Vegas, and I remember in '81 going to see Leonard and Hearn. So my family taking me. The town used to get lit up for all these prize fights.
Were you at that one? Were you at Leonard Duran?
No, I was not.
My hometown, the brawl in Montreal.
There we go. I was not there.
You were not, okay.
I was not there. So I've been always just an evangelist for the sport, and I've always felt it was positioned the wrong way. I believe in just so passionately, there is nothing like that moment when those two fighters leave the locker room and enter the ring. That sensation, the goosebumps, is incredible. And when people see that and experience it, they go, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I say that because that's traditional boxing. That is where we excel. People ask me about Jake Paul. I appreciate him. I think what he does and marketability is amazing, but I'm really not into that business. Really, I'm not into that business. People talk about, Mayweather Pacquiao. I'm like, I did that 15 years ago and it was 3 years late. I mean, I feel sorry for all these young kids on the stage, because those kind of sizzles, right? Those sizzle events that expire the next time, are taking away a lot of oxygen for the sport, for the young kids. But it adds awareness on a different perspective. So I have a conflict. But I think the sport in itself, because of the relationships of Top Rank coming to DAZN, the promoters wanting to align to make the best fights out there, the globalization of it, Nakatani and Inoue in May, everything is coming together beautifully. The personalities, that's a whole different story. I think you have to look at the foundational pieces, though.
Do you have a working relationship with Riyadh Season?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we if they need something, if they want something from our shows, from our stable, we obviously do that. We obviously had a bunch of fighters on the Ring show, which was Shushu, Keyshawn, T.O., right? We're all here in New York 2 months ago.
Okay. Yeah. You did mention Inoue, and we showed the graphic that was posted this morning of the announcement and the fighters and whatnot. Conspicuous by his absence, I do believe this one right here was Naoya Inoue, who is scheduled to meet Junto Nakatani in May. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I think because this is our U.S. rights, and he's really not fighting in the U.S.
Okay. Will you guys be promoting that?
So we have a relationship with both Inoue and Nakatani, right? Long-term relationships. So
that will air on DAZN?
I can't.
Okay. That's a big-time fight.
It's a wonderful fight.
Yes.
It's a wonderful fight. So I think what we tried to do was put into an agreement with DAZN, a working relationship with select fighters from a territory where they really want to lean in on, and that's America.
Okay.
So the exclusion, I mean, I'm not sure even Rafael Espinoza was on that slide. I didn't really see it. So we had to be careful about, I mean, their strategy, they are leaning on Eddie and Frank to go move the UK. That is their core, that is their base. They need to develop that market. They're really leaning on us to let's light up the US, let's get the momentum going, let's move this sport and keep pushing it. And that's why we kind of ID'd some guys that were going to be frequently on the platform.
Since your last show on ESPN, a new player has come into the game, Zuffa Boxing, and they're coming, right? What do you make?
What do you mean they're coming? They're here.
Well, they're coming in the sense that they're trying to, bring in this Ali Enhancement Act. They're bringing in their own belt. There's a lot of changes. Okay, let me ask you about that. How do you feel about this? A rare opportunity to get your 2 cents. First with the Ali Enhancement Act.
I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Why?
I mean, I just think it's, it's so hypocritical, and it's really the fundamentals. Let's talk about UFC was created by Nevada Boxing Commission regulators, right? Lorenzo Fertitta bought it. He was a Nevada boxing.
Bought it, didn't create it.
Didn't create it. Let's
Bob Meyerowitz. Yes.
Yeah.
Bought it in 2000.
In the current version.
Yes.
Right.
Cleaned it up.
All these guys had the creations. They all brought in Mark Ratner. They brought in Kirk Hendrick, right? They brought in Michael Marsh. They brought in a lot of
Epstein.
He was my
sure, I know. That's what I'm saying. But he was part of Zuffa. No, okay. I'm saying they brought in people to clean it up. Yes.
And what they did was they architected a beautiful product in UFC. But they also did was they saw the problems that existed in how boxing got regulated and created a business model so they didn't have to succumb to that, right? And all they did was tell us how bad we were and how bad boxing was, and Bob Arum is this and Bob Arum is that, and fuck boxing, and it's an old man sport. Mm-hmm. Now they want to come in with the third leg of the school, right? They have wrestling, which is fiction. They have, it's as real as it gets on the other side, so who knows what's in between, right? And the third leg of the school is boxing. And they say, we want to play, but we want to change the rules for us and nobody else. That's, I saw Dana call somebody a pussy. That seems like a fucking pussy, right? What do you mean you want to change the rules for you that only apply to you and nobody else? I don't get that. I really don't understand it. And I think that if you want to get into the sport, great, come into the sport, right? Come into what what we're all operating in. It would be like, I want to trade stocks in the SEC, but I want to do it a separate way. I want to be able to front run somebody, right? Or get inside information. It doesn't make sense. But they're very powerful. They're very well connected. They have a great product in UFC and in WWE. They're great at it. And I think I understand their strategy. They want to build out a boxing vertical. I'm not sure I can't figure out which path they're choosing on this one. I heard it was a league. I heard it wasn't a league. I don't know. And I think they're in the air on where they're going.
How do you feel about them introducing their own belt?
Okay. I I find it very hard. I think I echo what Eddie says. I mean, over the last, I sent you a note, over the last couple of months, I've really enjoyed. Eddie is a wonderful communicator.
Yes.
And he's clever, and he has something, and he's 100% right. Every time I walk into a kid's room and he's 17 years old or 18 years old and I meet the family, they all want to be a world champion. They want to wear the green belt. They want the WBA belt. They want the IBF belt. That's what I see. And very similar to the tradition and the history of baseball, right? People they look at the record book, the annals of like great batting averages and Ruth, and they go back in the history. There is that vein where the grandfather of these kids saw Julio Cesar Chavez fight and Salvador Sanchez, and these represented something. So I think you can't take the history out of the sport, but I give them credit for trying. That's it.
Do you think it's inevitable that they will be successful in making these changes, having their own belt, the Enhancement Act, if you will? It seems inevitable. It seems inevitable that this bill will pass. It seems inevitable that they'll be able to have their own belt. Do you think they'll be successful?
I mean, I think they're all smart. They have an enormous amount of political influence. They have been spending tens of millions of dollars on lobbyists for decades. And I think they'll get shit done. How successful it'll be is really up to them. And I think they got to be careful. I think they have to be careful. I haven't seen this much vocal just rage by the MMA athletes today against UFC than in 30 years. I've never seen this. The genie's out of the bottle. I think they played a game with this Conor Benn thing. I don't know what the purpose of that game was, right? And then they kind of try to wipe their hands of it. But that domino fell. And I have never seen anything where these athletes who were so scared to say anything, this is like old Iron Curtain shit, right? Where people don't say anything. I'm going to get thrown into Siberia. I'm going to be thrown away. And the propaganda, I got to listen to all that bullshit. I haven't never seen anything like this, where these kids are just all now voicing their opinions. And that's the domino I'm not sure they thought was going to fall when they got into it.
What do you make of Dana's demeanor since getting into this? The things that he has been saying about the business, about what he's going to do, how he's going to dominate, about how there's no competition, there's no evolution, there's no forward thinking, beating up babies, all this stuff.
That's Dana. I mean, he's a bully. I get it. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand for my purposes. Dana, words meet your actions, actions meet your words, right? And I listened to all of his stuff where he used to just destroy boxing promoters, that we take no risk. We just show up, we leverage everything for one night, we take no risk. And then I see him, like tattoo on an island between Crawford and Canelo in a photo op where he's not doing anything. He's like, he didn't take any risk on that fight. He's not doing that. He's standing there just like one of us schmucky promoters in between two guys and like a stand-up cutout. It just feels off to me, right? I have personally, I'm not a big thing of like sticking my face in between the fighters. I think like when somebody wants my fighter, I give it to them. I give you the privilege to promote it. You get the branding. You get this. I just don't get some of that kind of pageantry that exists in the sport, but we do it, and it's kind of like, eh. But that one, I give them so much credit because they do take risks. They do they do monetize the product and own it. In this one, they were just an extension. They were an agent for a ring. And that just feels off to me. It doesn't feel like their business model. And it feels like what he was criticizing us about years ago, he was doing here in this case. And then they say, oh, and we're not paying Conor Benn. Who signed him then? I don't understand. It's like I can't figure out. I wish there was a consistency between what he criticizes us for and what the actions you're going to do to change it. Because I do believe they did a great job with UFC. Fantastic job. And they should get all the credit for that.
Have you watched their shows so far, the first 4 shows that they've done?
No.
Nothing? Highlights, clips?
I've seen stuff on social.
What do you make of it?
I mean, we've got a bunch of guys that we used to have 4 or 5 years ago, guys that, they're just putting on good fights. And I think I think the intent, I think it's smart, right? I thought it was a smart little play, right? They try and create the XFL or something like that. Guys that don't make it in the big leagues, guys that fall out of it. You create this league. It's Zuffa Boxing. We just put on great fights, and you can build something up slowly. I totally get that. It makes sense. I think it's a great place for guys that it may be a tight market or not to have an opportunity. And if they can, it may just shoot off and be great. I don't know, but I can't figure out what their strategy is.
Uniforms, like them?
No, I'm a big. I just think that the character of the fighter is so much on that quilt work of all the patchwork of. I mean, even the cornermen that. Remember Chuck Bodek? He had stickers on his head. I love that stuff. It's part of it. The sombreros with Chavez. I mean, that is the character. When Tyson Fury comes in on a throne. I mean, that is just. That creates a connection. But I don't dismiss what they're doing. That's fine. Right? I'm not sure they know what path they're on.
Okay.
That's just my thing. I think we would all say they're jumping around a bit. I think that Zuffa Boxing kind of scenario, it's a fine product.
They announced today a deal with Sky Sports. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Coincidental timing?
Probably, because that's how they work, but
okay.
That's okay.
So meaning you think it was intentional to announce it on the same day?
Oh, I mean, listen, I know, probably.
Okay.
I'm not going to say, I mean, listen, it's, this is the gamesmanship, right? They're, these guys are all very clever, and let's see what they got.
It's fun to follow from this side of the table, as you know.
You're not a follower. You're knee deep in it. Don't give me this shit like you're a follower.
Well, no, follow.
You're not a follower.
What does that mean?
You're not a follower.
Okay,
you're all
I
in
adore
on
it.
this.
I adore it. It's so much fun.
You're all in on it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I mean, it's like, and people, and that's what's great about it, right? Is like people like you that are in on it. Whatever side you're picking, you're in.
I'm down the middle. I don't.
I wish you would say you're down the middle, but come on. Everybody knows that you're going to throw shade on.
What? No, I feel like
no.
On the UFC side?
Yes, you're a little bit. You do. You lean a little bit. You lean.
I keep it.
Oh, come on.
You know why
Where's
people
the
say
truth
that?
Serum? Let's get some truth serum.
You know why people say
There's
that?
no
Because
way.
I'm the only one that actually criticizes them, and so because that, it becomes sort of more profound. Whoa, there's a guy criticizing. He's actually leaning.
I
against
actually
them.
say this. You were the first to criticize them.
Okay.
You were,
fairly or unfairly?
I think you stood up to him. I think you stood up to him, and I think that's what's got us to this place where I'm seeing these fighters now vocal like you were 15 years ago or 10 years ago. It's something that they've never seen before, and they've been able to keep the whammy over people, and they've been able to, pass out the punch and keep drinking the punch. And if you do this, we're going to have when you open your mouth, then go. You're going to the penalty box.
But do you think something will really happen? Like Eddie said, there's going to be a revolution. I don't know if there's going to be. I mean, I think one person will talk and this person, but what will it really lead to?
Well, I don't know that it's a headache, right?
Yeah.
It's just a headache, right? And I don't follow the sport well enough, but I do know that when you talk about some of their largest profile, which they did a brilliant job in the Conor McGregors and the Ronda Rouseys and all these guys, that are the high profile people, that voice is a big voice today, regardless if it's in the business or not in the business, if they're not active or not. And John Jones, all these guys are now speaking, and that's never happened before, right? This is like people are vocal in the streets of, in a country wanting revolt. When people go out there, right, the governments get nervous, right? They don't want to see the masses, speak up so much. And I think this is what you're seeing now. I don't know that it creates a revolution. I'm not sure, because they are the best product in MMA. They've created an incredible brand. They have an incredible machine. But I think to hear this vocal anti, especially as it associates to pay, the pay disparity, is an issue. This is what the WNBA is dealing with.
Yes. Although they did fix that this morning. I don't know if you saw that. Yes, they came to a deal. Yes, yeah. 100K to 600K. So,
right. So I mean, I think when you talk about pay disparity, that is a real, sensitive spot for. It resonates with people. and people feel like they're taken care of.
Could I ask, you mentioned Dana being a bully. He's a competitive guy, but when you hear him still speak about Bob in the way in which he does at Bob's age, considering everything Bob's done in his career, does it annoy you? Does it upset you? Do you get emotional about it? This is a man who's obviously a big part of your life. I sort of feel like once you hit the 90 mark, like maybe we should lay off on the insults. What do you think?
I honestly, I've known Dana. That whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
30-something years. I don't know that Dana really means it.
Okay.
And that's why I kind of it kind of goes off my shoulder, right? I think he was really smart in making Bob the heel.
Wrestling term.
Yeah.
Love it.
He made him the heel. I think he was trying to bring a product on. He had a product that people, in mixed martial arts, that they were architecting, and it was very telegenic. He was trying to make it young and hip and cool. And if he could make his product, and he represents this edgy, tough guy, strong, edgy, foul-mouthed, whatever it is, resonating with a young demographic across the country. And if he could take the sweet science and give it a poster boy, and a poster boy of a cantankerous, Brooklyn old guy, he could then benefit his sport and say, you want to be with that guy? He represents, this is what he represents. This is what I represent. I'm cool. He's that. And I think he has just, over time, perpetuated that story and story and story.
Okay.
I think it's convenient. I could be totally off, but I think it's the narrative I think he's now believing it and living in it so much that it's just too much of his persona that he probably can't reel it back. But I really do believe that's it.
Okay. Two more for you. And again, rare opportunity to pick your brain. We've never
It's not going to be this rare.
I know, but we've never done it before.
All right.
We've never done it before. I've been here for a while.
I didn't know I'd be welcome.
Are you kidding me? I love these chats. These are my favorite kind of chats. I love the business of the fight game.
Yeah.
Could I ask, we talk to a lot of people, so I will say that with full transparency. I do know that there were recently some layoffs at the company, right? How are things at the company right now, and was there worry? That is accurate, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that as a result of this stuff, or was it a byproduct of something else, like the TV deal?
I think, listen, Amazon lays people off. We did some selective trimming.
Okay.
As based on, our previous media rights deal had a very big bandwidth of a lot of events, 24 abroad, 30 here. And if there was some duplicity or if we were overlapped, we kind of just pared it down, and we just streamlined.
You told me you don't want to say how many fights per year on DAZN. I respect that. Can I ask, how many fights does Top Rank want to do in a calendar year?
That's a really, that's a topic to be discussed, because when I came into the business, it was like quantity that you were successful. Quantity. The more fights you do, the more successful you are. And then I realized that's kind of bullshit. It really is quality, right? And quantity and quality where they fit, right? And I kind of think that I don't have a wish list on a number, right? I think what I would like to do is make sure the big guys, the studs, the world champion, all have the ability to fight as frequently as possible. If we say at that level, which we see the cadence is twice a year, that would be great. The next breed, right, is the guys in the bullpen, the guys ready, that challenger, those guys that are developing from the Olympics and everything like that, and having an additional outlet that gives them the frequency to grow, to develop, to get their trait. So I don't have a number on that, right? But that's the two products I kind of see.
Okay.
And if you kind of looked at in the old days, you had USA Tuesday Night Fights were doing one level, but you had HBO doing the other level. And I think, or HBO After Dark and World Championship Boxing. I think there's two categories that we would like to present, and that's how I'd look at it.
Okay. What, if anything, could you tell us about this Billy Keane lawsuit? Is there anything you can say about it? Anything you want to say? I've not heard you talk about it, so I wanted to give you the opportunity to say your side, if possible.
It's active litigation, and
it's still active?
Yeah.
Because it came out like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Is there an end in sight? No, you don't want to say. You want to say your piece, or no? I just wanted to give you that opportunity.
I don't want to say my piece. I think all I say is, just a lot of nonsense, and I thought it was pretty cheap.
Okay.
It was cheap. I just felt the way it was done, and using a bunch of fictitious allegations and putting it in a lawsuit, and hiding behind the privilege of a lawsuit to then leak it to the press to smear somebody's name is a terrible thing for anybody to happen to anybody. So it sucked, but I thought it was cheap. But that's how those guys play.
And who are those guys?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. How are you handling everything? Like
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
I mean, listen. I mean, it sucks. It just, it's not something. You see this all the time. I mean, we've seen this in other. I'm not a high-profile person, so for anything to be in the New York Post on me, it's like somebody did somebody a favor, right? Who gives a shit about me, right? Maybe you see this with entertainers and rappers where these frivolous lawsuits get filed. They take the contents of a lawsuit, right? They leak it to the press because it's privilege. And they say, well, we can write this. It's no defamation. And, facts speak for themselves, and I'm on the right side. We all are. Top Rank, everybody's on the right side. But I just thought that's dirty pool.
Okay.
And, just, gross shit. And I think the legal system should be changed. And writers should be... have some accountability, but that's not what we're in today, right?
You're hopeful it'll get wrapped up soon?
I don't know the end. I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is, don't fuck. I'm not going to get bullied around by a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. You enjoying all of this? It's a great day for the company.
Oh, you enjoying being here?
No, not me.
Or a lawsuit?
No. Life. Like, okay, you got this out of the way. You've got other stuff.
Well, I think it's
you've got great young talent.
So I think the interesting thing is what you talk about is out of the way, right? I just look at like.
I don't mean that in a negative way, but
I actually look at it as like okay.
Now the work begins, right?
Now,
yes.
Here's this piece of the puzzle is done. Now how can we make this pie bigger?
Okay.
How can we make the pie bigger? How can we grow our business, grow the platform, do bigger matches, get our do all these things. And I think this is important. I really, I took a little bit personal, I'll say, because of the timing that existed. I want to support everybody that works for us, all of our fighters, and that's why we go guys, go do these fights here, keep them going. And I love that they believed in us and believed in me and our team, and I love that everybody was like, we're with you, we understand, right? And it all paid off, and I think they're all very happy with this announcement. And the sport is so damn good, and it's so global, and it's got some characters, and everybody is always going to tune into a prize fight. They just love it, and doesn't matter what country or what language, the sport resonates.
I was just going to say, before you said that, in the last few months, we've talked to Abdullah, we've talked to Keyshawn, we've talked to Shushu, a bunch of your guys. And every single one of them, I did ask, like, hey, what do you think about the state of Top Rank? What's going on? And every single one said, we're all good. I believe in them. They'll figure this out. Like, I never had a single one of those guys say, I'm getting worried. I'm getting annoyed. They're not delivering. Every single one had your back, had the company's back, which I thought was pretty cool.
I really appreciate that. I mean, I think it's hard to like say, I can't tell them. I can't tell people. You can't put your cards on the table. It's a small industry, right? You can't lay everything out there for everybody. And I really appreciate that. I had to be silent, and we had to be silent. We had to keep mum's the word. But I think one of the things we did, which I think was a very good thing, is we listened to their needs. We knew they had to stay active, and if I had to rent them out to go fight on somebody else's show, in another world, I would never do that. But I'm like, okay, think long game, don't think short game, right? Don't think wait, and let these kids get stale and not be in the gym and not go. And like we talked about, in 6 months, rattled off wonderful wins, and we're all ready to go.
This has been tremendous. Thank you, Todd.
Listen,
did you enjoy it? Deposition's a tough word. Golly.
I mean, if I had a table like this, the deposition would fly by. I mean, this studio is fantastic.
Thank you.
And you do a great job.
Appreciate it. We love having your guys on. Love talking about the fights. Welcome here for the first time. Hopefully you'll come back, and congratulations on the big deal.
Thank you very much.
Todd duBoef, president of Top Rank. There's the announcement right there. They announced it officially this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have Jeremy Stevens on after the break. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.